Welcome to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation's Conversations at Home program. I'm Jenelle Riley with Variety. And now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome from Killing It, Craig Robinson and Claudia O'Doherty. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
This is an audience of your fellow SAG actors. So I actually always like to start by asking, how did you get your SAG card? What was the role that brought that magical card to you? And let's start with Craig, because you're actually, I believe you're a SAG Award winner as part of the Office Ensemble.
I think it was a show called Lucky. I was something called Taft Hartley.
Yeah.
So I guess I was Taft Hartley and on Lucky, and that was in 2001.
Now, Taft Hartley is when they say, like, we can't find anyone else. It has to be this guy, right?
Yes.
Nice.
Exactly what happened. or it's like, well, you got the role, so come on along. Something like that. I just know I got my card.
I prefer my version of it, where it had to be you. Claudia, for you?
For me, it was my part on Love, the Netflix Judd Apatow, Paul Russ, Leslie Arfin shows. That was in 2015, and I was so excited to be able to go to the doctor with my SAG card.
Wait, you showed it to your doctor? Is that for insurance purposes?
Or all the insurance was very exciting to me. American insurance.
Wait, you're excited about American insurance?
Well, that I suddenly had access to it. That was what my SAG card really meant to me.
Well, now you're here with Killing It, in which Craig plays a man who enters the Florida Python Challenge. This is just such a great concept. Craig, you're also an executive producer on the show. I'm curious how the premise sort of came to you, what interested you in this project, or if you were there, developing it all along.
Well, it all started back when I was Brooklyn Nine-Nine was going on, and I just done an episode and had a meeting with Dan Gore, which turned into meetings with Dan and Luke, and then Mark Schulman, who also is the exec producer and my manager. So we would meet at John and Vinny's in West Hollywood, and so we had a couple meetings, and then Dan and Luke brought these 3 ideas, which 2 I don't remember. They were all great, but something stuck out about this one. I think Luke was kind of fascinated with that there's this contest going on. You can win an ATV and all these like untrained new Python hunters. So we all were like, I haven't seen something like that. Let's go with that one. So I was presented with these 3 ideas, and then that was the one we chose.
So is this a real thing that happens?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, because go ahead, say it, Claudia. Tell her why.
Well, the pythons got introduced in the late 90s. Everyone was buying them as pets, and then they get too big to be fed or housed, so people just release them into the swamps, and now they're an ecological disaster. So you've got to get rid of them somehow.
Nothing eats them, and they eat everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Claudia, for you, how did the role of Jillian find its way to you, and what interested you in the project overall?
Well, I auditioned for it like any person. What interested me was, everything about it sounded like a dream role for me. It was like, it would be Craig, who is like automatically so funny and good. Plus, to me, it was like such an exciting, funny idea set in Florida during a python hunt. And just everything about it was appealing to me. Also, just like having a job, that's very appealing. But just getting to be funny with Craig was really what was so exciting about it.
I'm curious, because so many actors are watching, I would love to go a little deeper into the audition process. Was there a point where you met and did a chemistry read with Craig, or was it just, actually during the pandemic, it might've all been over Zoom?
Exactly.
It was all over Zoom. So I was in this exact room the day before I was going to get a facial, and then I got a call and they said, you've got a chemistry read with Craig Robinson tomorrow. And I was like, probably shouldn't have a facial in case it makes my face really red. So I canceled the facial. And then, just set up my living room for a Zoom, learned the lines. And it's funny auditioning in your living room because in a way it's less scary, but you've also got like weird tech stuff to be worried about. It was like, I hope I have a strong enough internet connection for this. But then actually, lots of people say they really hate doing Zoom auditions. But I think for me, it was just so fun auditioning with Craig. I think we instantly found each other funny. So it was like, this is exciting.
Craig, from your perspective, being on the other side of the casting table, was that really eye-opening for you? Probably having been in the audition room so many times, as a actor.
You mean as far as Zoom auditioning?
Yeah, or just, reading with actors, knowing you've already got the job. It must be a nice situation to be in.
Well, it's one thing I've done it a couple times, like with Hot Tub Time Machine, but something has stood out to me. There's always that one person. It's like for the job. It's like no matter how good everybody else is, it's always that one. It's like, oh, there she is, and that's what happened with Claudia. It was like she jumped out. The character wasn't Australian, when she was written. So Claudia came in and turned the character Australian. I think that happened with Henry Winkler. I think they had the Fonz was supposed to be blonde and like tall, and then Henry Winkler went in there was like, hey, and they were like, oh yeah, this is it. I heard that story, but yeah, that's what it was. We instantly connected, and I'd already had love and respect for her from her career, but it was instant.
How were you at auditioning, when you started out? Because it's such a specific skill. It's very different from acting.
It's definitely there's an art. It's an art form. There's an art to audition. That's how I look at it. I tend to go in as if I have the part. I guess another way of saying is to own it. But I would audition out when I had audition. I would learn the script backwards and forwards, literally. I would like be able to say the lines, and Claudia knows because I would have a rehearse like that. We memorize our lines, and we get to the bottom of the script, and I say, okay, now let's go back from there. And she's like, what?
It's really hard.
But it really sticks in you then. But when I first started auditioning, I remember this one lady, casting agent, she was like, she stopped me after the audition. She was like, learn how to audition. You got some big people behind you. Because I have my management company who's with me today, 3 Arts, Mark Shulman. But she's like, you got some big people behind you. Learn what you're doing. You have an opportunity here. And then from then on, I started to figure it out. But yeah, what made me figure out about owning my seat in the audition, I had an audition, a table read rather. And I called Kim Williams, casting director. I was like, Kim, I can't make the table read because I had to go to Connecticut or something because I had a comedy gig. And so it was the table read for a Tyler Perry movie. And then I started like regretting it. As soon as I called, I was regretting, but I didn't have the money to change my flight ticket. But then I was like, you know what? Because it's going to be like $900 or something crazy. Mm-hmm. So then I said, forget it. I called Kim and said, is that seat still open? She said, yes, it is. So I chose in that moment, I said, well, I'm going to do whatever I want with that character because I'm buying that seat. Buying that seat, meaning I'm buying spending this extra money on this plane ticket that I don't have. So I'm buying that seat. So I went in there and I owned it and I got the part.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, Claudia, Daddy's Little Girls.
Oh.
One of my earlier films.
Claudia, for you, is there anything that you've learned in the audition room that has sort of helped make it more, palatable?
I'm pretty bad at auditions, to be 100% honest. Like this was the rare occasion where I was like, oh, I understand how I make sense for this part, and I think I could be funny at this. And also, I think it was an easier audition because Craig was there doing it, having the actual other actor there being funny in the room. Like that's kind of rare. So often you're just reading with a casting director and it's just really weird. But I mean, I think everyone should just not do what I do in auditions. I'm pretty bad at them. This is just an unusual situation where I got the job.
I don't know any actor who actually thinks they're good at them. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, they're very stressful, strange things. It's like a physical challenge that's pretty different to the actual job. But it's rare that I've had an audition where I haven't afterwards been like, oh, why didn't I do it like that? So I don't know, just trying to figure out what the thing will be that will make you funny or good in that audition. But learning it is really good advice, really learning it. Because sometimes I have wondered, because you see like videos of like Aaron Paul auditioning for Breaking Bad and he's holding the script. And I'm like, maybe it actually seems cooler if you don't learn the script, but you should probably learn the script.
I always have the script, but the script is just there for, to glance for me. I would still go out to like the karaoke bar around the corner when I was living over there, Boardwalk 11. And then there's an actor, rest in peace, Bruce Dworkin, who would help me. Like I would take my lines and I would rehearse so I could still go out, have a good time, but I would rehearse there and have like Bruce and when we would go over it. And he happened to be this amazing actor, greatest actor you never heard of. And he would help me and help me out that way, whether it be auditioning or just working on lines for something.
That's so cool. With every new role, I feel like actors have to prepare different things, learn new skills. For these characters, what kind of research did you have to take on? Like Claudia, you just rattled off some facts about pythons in Florida that I'm guessing you didn't know before this show.
No, those are just my lines from the show that I remember. I didn't do a ton of research, to be honest. I was shocked as we went along to discover that most of the things in the show are based on real things that are actually happening. Yeah, no, I didn't really do any research. Did you, Craig?
No.
I mean, you had to learn sign language. That was pretty good.
Oh yeah. Well, as far as that, I got to learn some signs and I don't remember them now. Don't ask me, please. But I was signed for. I had this shout out to Rick, my ASL teacher, and he would show me, like for scenes coming up, he would prep me a week early or what have you. And just as far as preparation, it was more about like Claudia was saying, learning the hell out of the lines, learning and approaching it from a genuine place. So we could go anywhere in the show. It takes some tremendously dark turns, but it's also got this heart. It's got this humor at it to it. So it's all about making it as real as possible, so those things can blend seamlessly.
What about the physical challenge? Because I know it's acting and you're not really killing snakes. I have to say that's the Humane Society hears it. But, you're really out there. Your body doesn't know the difference when you're doing this physical activity. Did someone sort of teach you the best way to get a python?
No, I think that's the beauty of it. It's like we are these amateur python hunters that have no idea that's the snake and nail to my hand. But there were challenges beyond just looking for snakes. Like just walking in a swamp is like walking on high heels or something. The physical conditions. The biggest challenge was probably the hurricanes that they created for us. I mean, gigantic fans the size of buildings, and then you got the water, and then it was freezing outside. So
cold.
And then you getting wet, you're drenched. You can't hear a thing. The fans are so loud. So it's like you can't think. You got to figure out what your lines are. And I can't hear Claudia. I was just guessing when to shout my lines. It was so bad. And then they're like, go again, something wrong with the camera. What? No. Okay.
It was shockingly cold when we were doing those because it was also the middle of the night. We had wetsuits on under our costumes, but the thing that they don't tell you until the night that you're shooting at 2 a.m, they're like, a wetsuit actually doesn't keep you dry. It just keeps you less wet or something like that. They're like, the water will get in. You're like, okay, great, exciting.
And you referenced learning sign language. I'm curious because the actor who plays Camille, Craig in the show's ex-wife,
Stephanie Nogueras.
Thank you. She speaks in sign language. Was the role written for a deaf actor, or was it adjusted when she was cast?
It was written for a deaf actor. Yes.
Wow, that's fascinating.
And also, Dan and Luke call, meaning you would have to, but I think they wasn't, and then all of a sudden it was, and I couldn't be more grateful, man. It's amazing to communicate in that way, especially from like far away and stuff, and just hoping it looks real for me, my end.
You actually have an amazing ensemble. I mean, you have actors like Rel Battle and Scott MacArthur, and the young actress who plays Vanessa, Jet Miller, is so fantastic, especially because she's in so many scenes with you. Is it sort of fun to act opposite someone who, is more starting out in their career?
Jet is brilliant, and she's funny, and she's smart, and she's confident. She's got a great family who will be her mom was there. We met her mom and her dad. But yeah, she was awesome. And then we would play this game where it was like a brain challenge kind of thing. So in between sets, and then she would always win in between setups, whatever. But yes, Jess, it's awesome. It was fun, and I'm very excited, looking forward to her career.
I love seeing young actors like that, because, kids don't lie when they're on camera, and they also, they don't care who you are. They're very humbling.
One time, this is what I know too about auditioning people. Remember I said there's always one person for the role. When it comes to kids, you kind of throw it out the window because they all were so. I auditioned for this show, Mr. Robinson. These kids, and they had to learn to rap, and they had to do acting. Every last one of them were fantastic. Like, and they didn't have the problems of the world that they brought in with them to the audition. And, I'm double parked, or I couldn't look at the script to this. They just came in and they did it, and it was like one after the other. Like, oh, that's the one, that's the one, that's the one. So yeah, kids be killing them.
Curious, you mentioned the storm, or the fake storm, I guess. But what are some of the unique challenges you had to deal with on this show in terms of, like, I don't know if you're working with real snakes or not. They look real to me.
We did. We had real snakes, which the American Humane Society was present every time we had real snakes. So no snakes were harmed in the film of killing it. We had fake snakes, and then we had the CGI. When I first saw the CGI of the snake in the backseat, that's when I knew we were making something special, because it scared me. I was like, whoa, I was there.
Were either of you squeamish about snakes before this?
Nope.
Well, she's from Australia. I got over my fear of snakes in Australia. I was with my band, and I ended up holding a snake. We were at the animal sanctuary, and I held a snake, and it was so nice and chill. And I was like, wow, the snake means you no harm. I've been misled by the Bible and Indiana Jones.
I think they're fascinating. The fact that it's just like pure muscle, and that's how they move.
And they feel amazing.
They're cool. They're weird. They're so much less scary to me than, anything quick to me. I mean, especially pythons, which were the snakes we had in the show. They're all really slow, so that's like not too scary to me. But if it was like, I'm much more scared of rats. If it was about rats, I don't know if I could have done it.
Oh, I love rats. I think they're adorable.
And they're smart.
I hate them. I'm so scared. I'm just so scared of them. I'm not saying they're not great. I'm just really scared.
So note for season 2, Craig, rats.
Whoa.
It can't be a rat hunt. Please don't let it be a rat hunt.
You're already under contract, too late.
No.
This is a comedy show, but it also, it strikes a really interesting balance between these issues of, the American dream, capitalism. How do you sort of maintain those tones and, keep it funny, but also like really address, sometimes these heartbreaking issues?
Again, you play it straight. You play it, you just try to connect with your scene partner. You connect to the script and just be genuine. And we really had to be genuine because we were shooting, episode 3 the first week. So we were cross shooting episode 3 and then come back to episode. So you play it straight, and you also lean on for me, lean on the director to be like, okay, this just happened. Here's where you are. And I think that the directors did a great job of that. Like even showing Claudia, Jillian and Craig's, how they grew to, how they got closer in the episode to episode. So for me, it would be just playing it straight, just playing what was written, but just having being genuine about it. It's when you start putting too much on it. It's like, what are you talking about?
Claudia, for you?
Yeah, it's true. I think so much of it was in the script. So luckily, and it was up to the directors, like the tone, there was, when it would go between like drama and comedy, that was always like kind of just like a pleasure to do that with Craig because he's such a grounded actor. So it was just really fun to get to do different stuff. And luckily, I just think the show is really well written. So it is like, these characters are in very like ridiculous high stakes situations, but they're not out, they're not out of the question. It's not surreal. This is all stuff that happens to people in real life. So I think it was just sort of like going with the script. And like Craig said, not like trying to add too much to it.
You have these great writers, but you're also both such funny people. I'm curious how much of any improvising is done on set.
I didn't do that much, I would say. Little bits and pieces here and there. And often it was because Craig would encourage me to. But I mean, for me, I was like, I thought the jokes were so funny in the script. I was like, why would I want to do that joke? That's a great joke.
I think a little bit here and there is exactly right. There wasn't, because there was so much to do. So we had some improv, yes, but it wasn't like an established show, like let's say The Office, where they're like, okay, do a fun run, whatever you want. It's just kind of, but don't get me wrong, we had some stuff like we had like when we got the money, that's one of my favorite scenes. We got the money. We were looking just, oh my God. So, but there was stuff like that where it would just be something big and silly, and then we just connected on it.
You mentioned your directors. You had great directors this season. I'm curious, as actors, when you show up to work, what do you sort of hope for from a director? What's your dream situation?
I guess like kind of the main thing is you just want them to be like calm and to have a sense of what you're doing. I think with TV shows, it's so much more, this was the first season of a TV show. So it's like you're establishing something. And Mo Maribels, who directed the first 3 episodes, he really did a great job with that, I think. And he, to me, always seemed like deeply calm, even though he was like establishing an entire world in the show. And that's nice when the TV director doesn't seem really stressed out.
Yeah, I want my director to know all the answers from what's my motivation to why is she coming here? Why are we like this? To what time are we getting off? I want answers, and I
Yeah.
want to be able to lean on them for to it's all about lifting the performance, right? So I love it when a director can make me laugh, and when a director can go, you can show me something I didn't see, or a light bulb goes off. So it's really about the answers really it's like a dance partner, like if I spin you and you spin me back, and you go, am I gonna run to the wall? Am I gonna spin and go, hey, what? I don't know what that last part was about, but yes, answers.
Getting to spend 10 episodes with one character, it in some ways feels like such a luxury, as opposed to coming into a 2-hour movie with a role. But I am curious, if it's ever a challenge to sort of keep it fresh when you're playing a character. Obviously, Craig, you were on The Office for several years. Did you ever have to find creative ways to keep that character fresh?
I don't know. I've never once had a thought, I gotta make them fresh. I've never had that thought. So I don't know how to answer that. I've never had the thought. It's all been about, I think the freshness for me was always like, oh, they want me to come back? Okay. The first, I was always grateful, and I watched the show on the episodes I'm not on, and be blowing my mind that I'm sitting going, wow, I'm a part of this. So it's always been, kind of like just in awe of going back and doing that show. So, and I'm that kid in the candy store when it comes to getting a role. This role here, it's like working with Dan and Luke, who I love and trust implicitly. Like whatever they write, I'll say it. So maybe some of that freshness you speak of could be just the appreciation of us being able to step into a role, and I don't feel jaded or anything like that. It's just it's always fun. So I can't say I've ever been like, okay, how are we gonna make them fresh again? That's a foreign question to me.
Well, that's great, because I think you can do so much with these characters in this show. I would love to watch their continuing adventures.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Off to God's ears.
Same, yeah.
Well, again, it's such a fun show. I want to remind everyone watching that all the episodes of Killing It are available to stream on Peacock. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your process and your craft with your fellow actors.
You're welcome. Shout out all you fellow actors. See y'all on set one day. Some of y'all.
Thank you, fellow actors. Love you.